So, Sisha, we've really been talking you up in some way. So, you better make. No, I'm just kidding. Better make us look good. No. Oh, look, there's a chest outside.
You're the very first official guest.
Well,
we've ever had.
That's true. That's true. I was
Well,
gonna
I'm
say.
excited.
How do you feel about sharing these stories?
Well, like I said, I pretty much share the story on average every month. So
On average, every month. So when you say on average every month, like, do you do it on different forums, or are you doing it like?
So like
randomly
people,
stopping people on the streets and be like, hey, listen to the story.
no, people ask.
People,
People will ask like about my video, and a lot of times when that happens, it's because they haven't watched the whole thing, because the video is like 30 minutes long.
Yeah, that's what. Ours are always like 2 hours, so.
But
Nothing.
this is different. Like, this is very different.
All right, so let's, I guess, set the scene. Do it however you want, but let's hear this story.
So August 25th, 2010.
Hold on, we gotta get you on camera.
I don't need to be. I'm fine. It's fine.
All
It's
right,
fine.
all
Go
right,
ahead,
all right,
sir.
all right.
August 25th, 2010, I left for basic training. So, of course, as everybody everyone knows, before you go to the military, you go to MEPS, and they will do all types of just everything. And then when you go to basic training, I don't know if they still do that now, but back then we would be in something called reception for the first week. And the first week is when you got your gear, you did all of your medical stuff. They will let you know your blood type, get your dog tags, give you your shots, pregnancy tests, everything.
This is MEPS? Is it what you're talking about specifically?
No, this is reception.
Oh, okay.
This is the first week before basic training. So these are actually like the first several days while you're attending basic training. And then you actually get to basic training. Of course, you do everything you can do in basic training, break you down as a civilian, build you up to be a soldier, all of that stuff. And then after basic training, you go to advanced individual training in the Army, which is AIT. So I went to AIT, cooking it up, chefing it up. And then we were about to go to the field. So before we went to the field, all of the girls had to get pap smears. I'm not sure why. So when I went to basic training, I was 17 and I turned 18. So I was really nervous. This was going to be my first pap smear. And
so you're 17.
I was 18 at the time.
18 at this time.
I went in August. I turned 18 in September.
Okay.
So I go, and I'm like super nervous. Like, oh my gosh. Like, everybody is telling me what's going to happen. But I'm like, this is crazy. So I'll be darned. We had to do a urinalysis, and after the urinalysis, they called me back. I was the only one they called back, and I'm like, why did I get called back again? Did I just not use the bathroom enough? Because they told me where to.
Just not use the
yeah,
bathroom.
because they were like, you need to fill it up to this specific line, and mine was like half of that. So I'm like, okay. So I'm just there. Obviously, I just didn't use the bathroom enough. So she was like, yeah, you just didn't pee enough. So I'm like, okay, cool. So then I go back to get the pap smear. I'm nervous. Everybody who knows what a pap smear is, why I would be nervous.
Wait, so you didn't pee enough? That's a thing?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, okay.
She lied.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
That's mean.
That was it. I guess my urinalysis showed that I was pregnant, which is why she took my blood. So, yes. So, but she just lied to me. So I went to, they called my name. I went back. And she had me sit in a chair. So of course this will be my first pap smear. So I don't know what to expect. So she's at a computer and she has me sit right next to her. So if you know what a pap smear is, you have it's almost like a massage table. You sit on it, and the woman, you've seen it before. She puts her legs up.
That's the
point to me.
He's been on
because
one. Yeah.
no, because you're married and she has
Tune in
kids.
next week when I get pap smear.
No. Because she has kids. So they
Jax, when your legs are sitting up in the air like this.
No, because he has kids and his wife went through it.
When I was a kid, I went in the doctor's office for a physical for baseball or something in middle school, and I remember pulling those things out. And my dad's like, "What do you think you do with that, son?" And I'm like, "I don't know." So I was trying to figure it out, and I put my elbows in them. I was sitting with my legs the other way, and I had my elbows in them, and I'm like this, sitting in it. My dad's like, Yeah, that's what you do with those, son. The doctor came right in, and he's like, hold on a minute. And he walked outside, and I just hear him dying laughing. And I have no idea what's going on. I thought maybe he was like coughing or something. Little did I know he was actually laughing. And then like a nurse comes in with him, and he opens the door, and they just look at me and they're just laughing. And my dad's like, "It's my son." That's my son. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just had to say that story real quick since we were talking about it.
You're fine. So we go, and like I said, she has me sit down next to her. So I sit down next to her, and she's like, the first thing she said was, "Your pregnancy test came back positive." And so I'm just in complete and utter shock, because like that's not possible, right? Because I went through MEPS, I went through reception and everything, and I'll be darned, it came back positive. So like the drill sergeants were being so mean to me. They were being so mean to me because everybody thought I got pregnant in basic training. So I was every name in the book. Back they
So
would
how
say,
would that even be possible? Like,
it was possible. It was possible. Like, come to find out, people were doing things.
Ooh.
Now, at the time, I didn't know, but I ended up finding out when.
She doesn't want.
But so I didn't find out that people were doing, that stuff until after I had already left. So I guess I was just kind of naive. I was 17, but I don't know. I just guess I was just kind of naive, and maybe they were just really sneaky. I don't know.
So again, just to reiterate here, so you are in basic training at this point.
Yep.
You are, if anybody doesn't know what you do in basic training, it's basically learn stuff and run until you throw up.
No,
or at least,
it's everything.
Yeah.
You're
lifting weights, you're pulling up.
Yeah, you're literally
putting
working
down,
out every day. You literally are doing pull-ups. You're running every other day. You're getting smoked for.
Yeah.
If the drill sergeants are bored, you're getting smoked. If there's
not to
nothing
mention
do,
the sleep
smoked.
deprivation, right?
Wait,
Like,
yeah.
what does getting smoked mean?
Getting smoked is when you're either getting in trouble or the drill sergeants are doing it for fun, for their entertainment. So
let's have some fun today.
So this is what happens. So they'll call everybody to attention. So a lot of times the captain would just come in and be like, "Company, attention." So that would be the entire company. We're a Charlie company. Call us to attention. And then they'll be like, "Half right, face." And when they did that, everybody's like, "Oh my gosh," because everybody is at attention like this. Let's say me and Drew are at attention. And you don't turn all the way to the right, you just turn halfway. And then they will go front leaning rest position, move, and that means getting to the push-up position. And we would just be down there.
So you knew if you were going
half right or half left,
you were doing sort of
it's time to get
fun
smoked.
workout.
It's time to get smoked.
So again, setting this again, she is pregnant while being smoked by drill sergeants, whatever that means, trying to learn as much as she can about what she's going to be doing throughout her military career.
Yeah.
Just like the basics, which I mean is like you have to memorize things, like different talks and speeches. I don't know what they do, but I am not a military person, but I have a lot of family that are, so that's why I know a little bit about this. But I'm trying to just put the sheer weight of the situation. There are people that will go through basic training and not be able to make it, just as a normal person. This person over here is doing it with another being inside of her. Yeah. Like morning sickness, I'm sure you were like just thinking that
I
it
didn't
was...
have morning
no?
sickness.
Oh.
But I've never had morning sickness with any of my pregnancies.
Oh, well that's fantastic.
So I never had morning sickness, which was fine, but my cycle was off, very off. But it was off because everybody's was off. It was a very strenuous environment.
Doing a lot of stuff.
We're around so many different hormones, so everybody's was just off. And all of these things that happen, I'm assuming it's just because of basic training. But I was pregnant, and of course I didn't know the symptoms of pregnancy.
So you do your first test before you go in, right?
Yes.
Comes back negative, right?
Yep.
Doesn't get picked up. So what's going through your mind when they tell you that?
What, that she's negative? Or are you talking about?
But
That
she
when it
does
was
positive.
So this is what she said. She said, "So your pregnancy test came back positive." And I was like, and I still feel bad for it because I just completely lost my military bearing. And I was like, "What?" And you are not supposed to say that because they're typically officers, the doctors are. But I was like, "What?" And she was like, "Your pregnancy test came back positive." And I'm like, "What does that mean?" Because I was just so confused. Like, what are you talking about?
Because you're like, there's no possible way that this could be going on.
And the first thing that came to my mind was just like, oh no. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I'm just like up and I'm down. And like she just has a box of tissues and she's just sitting there. And
so wait, she has a box of tissues?
yeah, she gave
for
me
you?
tissues.
For you?
They were like the peach color kind.
She's like, and here you go.
Like
what are the
So like the doctors came in, they were like two captains and they were like, you know, it's okay, it's not the end of the world, you know, I have a son, I have this and I have that, whatever. So I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like at the hospital they were nice, but when I went back to my company, as far as, and of course I was at AIT at the time, like they were so mean. Like when I say I was every name in the book, I was every name in the book because everybody thought I got pregnant in basic training.
So they're basically punishing you
because they thought I got pregnant in basic training.
Because you're pregnant. I mean,
But-
yeah,
but-
I mean, I get that they. I
But
get that
yeah,
they,
there's a big difference because if I would have gotten pregnant in basic training, like women get pregnant when they're on deployments and everything, so it happens.
Sure.
But if that was the case, I would have understood. But I'm just sitting there like, they're like, what were you doing in basic training? You were this and that. And I'm like, I wasn't doing anything. Like,
But-
I promise I wasn't doing anything.
But here's the thing, like you're pregnant, so you're already in a very stressful circumstance as it is.
Mm-hmm.
So like to just try to make this worse by
the military does not care. They do not
doing that,
care.
it's not doing them any good, and it's just doing you a lot of bad. Like it's not like they're making an example of you for other people. It's just.
I mean, I'm sure
Just
if I
shaming
would have
you.
gotten pregnant in basic training, you know, that shaming would have been appropriate. You know, that would
I
have
don't-
been
I
There's
don't
an
know.
expectation that you don't, right?
Yeah, as a soldier,
Because
that's
you're-
not acceptable.
Right.
But
Because you're being trained
Yeah.
to go and
Right. Yeah.
I-
And
the
so
country
if
and
I
stuff.
was to get on a deployment, it's like we can't trust you on a deployment. So
yeah,
when I went back,
Plus, imagine if, like, I totally understand. I'm not saying
Mm-hmm. yeah,
they should have treated you any different, but I can understand why they wouldn't want that for
yeah,
somebody.
yeah,
Because they've got big plans with all these
Mm-hmm.
troops, and
and that's an
if
investment.
they're all
We're
end
going
up,
through basic training,
not all of them,
getting
but
paid.
if there's a large chunk of them that end up pregnant, now you got two people involved in that situation.
well, yeah,
Exactly,
but
yeah.
not to call the military a company, but companies go through that all
And
the
even
time.
then, fraternization is
Yes,
an absolute
but-
no.
And they
They're also-
pay for them to do it.
It's
To
different.
be able to
very
have a
different.
child and to get on maternity leave and things like that.
Right, but those companies are not going to defend the country. So
I-
my
I mean, I
job was
get
to
it.
protect
I
and
get
serve.
it.
So if I'm supposed to be protecting and serving, and yet I'm, you know, busting it wide open, for lack of a better term, well, then that is awful. That would be terrible.
Let's make
So-
it a stream rule that we never refer to that as busting it wide open.
That's our only rule.
No, there are no
Look,
rules.
we
There are
gotta
no
have-
rules.
I don't know. I'm kind of okay with that being set
Yeah.
on stream.
Busting it wide
Oh,
open.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know.
I feel like
So-
for it to be an official rule, we both got to agree on it.
All right, fair enough.
So what happened when I got back?
Episode.
They told me I was going to get kicked out. You're going to get separated. You're going home. And I was just like, no, I'm not getting kicked out. I'm not going home. Like, no, that's not.
So wait,
That's
you
not
told
option.
them this?
Uh-huh.
Really?
Where are they telling you this? Are they telling you just like behind curtains or in front of all your troops and stuff?
So it was me. No, it wasn't in front of everybody. It was me, my battle buddy, and my platoon sergeant.
Your what, buddy?
Battle buddy.
Oh.
Is that like the buddy system?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's my battle buddy, and it was my platoon sergeant, and she was telling me it was a female, and she was actually very empathetic. Like, you know, I understand the way you feel, and she knew my character and my work ethic, so she knew I didn't get pregnant in basic training. So although she wasn't there, she could vouch for me. So I went and I spoke with the liaison like I was fighting it hard because originally I didn't want to go to the military, but when I got there, that was somewhere that I wanted to be. I loved, I was guard, but I wanted to go active duty. And I was like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. So I had like a couple doctor's appointments. They gave me prenatal pills and stuff like that. And that's when they learned that I was 16 weeks.
Okay, that's where I was waiting to hear. Like, after this, like, what was the fallout from
Yes.
that? Okay.
So they
Okay.
learned that I was 16 weeks. When they learned that I was 16 weeks, I was everybody's hero because I went through basic training pregnant. And right before I found out, probably a week prior, we took a PT test, and I maxed out on my sit-ups, which is
So again, to just
yeah,
collectively get this picture here, she maxed out on something that not everybody even can finish. So not everybody even can do that amount of whatever it is. So she maxed out on that while being, what,
4 months pregnant.
4 months pregnant.
16 weeks. At the time,
Just-
I was like maybe like 15 or 14.
That's all I'm saying. I
So
just
just
think
to
that's
be clear,
incredible.
after your follow-up or whatever, after your doctor's visit, they now realize that you were pregnant before you went into basic
Yeah.
training. There was no way it could have happened
Yep.
there.
Yep.
So now everybody's totally cool with
Yeah, yeah. So my conception date was, it was like early August. Now, mind you, like I said, I left August 25th. So it was, I want to say around 2 weeks prior to me leaving.
Man, 2 weeks.
So, yep. And so I guess I was just too early for them to see it. But I thought with blood you could see it like sooner, but I don't know. So, yeah. Yeah.
So we were talking about this before you got here, and we were saying that it's probably what would we say, like less than 0.25% of people have gone through the same thing as you. Do you know of anybody else that has reached out to you that have gone through the same?
No, actually nobody has, but somebody, when I was in basic training, there was a girl that found out, I guess she found out when she was in basic training. I don't know whatever happened with that story, but like when on my YouTube channel, people have said like, you know, they found out when they were about to go, or they found out and they were separated.
So wait, so just so everybody out there in the internet world knows, you have your own YouTube channel. You've posted this story before, and you've had like 100,000 views or some crazy amount of views, and still not one person on your chat has said they went through the same thing.
That doesn't mean that they haven't. Maybe
No,
there's.
you're right. It doesn't mean that they haven't, but it does speak to how rare it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
very rare, very rare. So
And the fact that like one of your
one of my
that-
battle buddies commented they remember.
well, not only that, but like your video has been viewed by what was like
93,000 or something like that.
93,000 or 193,000?
No, it was only like 93.
93,000. So she's just under 100,000 views. I got to imagine that at least a portion of those videos were looked up specifically because there has to be somebody out there that's been going through this, that has gone through this or is going through this, and they need some sort of support of what to do. And I mean, it's pretty cool that you're doing that for them. I mean, you're kind of speaking for the unspoken, right?
Yeah.
And that's big.
So what did you say? You said somebody commented that they remember that happening or something?
Yeah.
Wow.
Your battle buddy?
Yeah, she was there.
How many battle buddies do
So-
you get? Just one?
No.
No?
The whole military is your battle buddy. The
Oh.
whole army is your battle buddy.
So when you said that they just brought you in with your battle buddy, you meant
No.
like brought in the entire military?
No, I mean like
Just
my battle buddy was like me and her. We were cool. We were friends, and so everybody was my battle buddy. But like when you're real cool, it's like that's my battle.
Your best big battle buddy.
No. But that was my battle. That was my battle. She just wrote me on Facebook. But
So call out your YouTube channel so people can come and see what you got.
my YouTube channel is Lanish Loves Makeup.
Lanish Loves Makeup.
Yep. Lenis.
So we're gonna have another stream eventually where Stisha's gonna give me, or Lanish,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
she's gonna give me a makeover.
Yep.
And I'm gonna be super pretty. Now I don't know how my wife is gonna take this, but
That would be so funny.
we'll figure that out later. And we're just gonna see how pretty you can make me. Do you think I have good cheekbones?
Yes, you do.
Can-
Like contour will be on fleek. Wow.
But can you do something about his complexion?
Yeah, I do have I think I have a nice complexion.
No, I'm just talking about the.
Oh yeah, I'm very spotty. I got bags under my eyes. You see those?
I'm just kidding. I remember you talking.
Well, we really do appreciate you sharing your story. In all seriousness, it's definitely a story of triumph. If I can be super like cheesy right now, but you know, it's not only the fact that anybody that can get through military is making a triumph story. anybody that can go in and do what they do every single day is a triumph, is a win in my category.
Yeah.
But to put in that added adversity that you had, and just to sort of go through it and then just be like, oh yeah, I guess I did that, and to just get it done. Like I don't know, that's it's amazing to me. It's amazing to me.
It's still hard for me to believe.
So, and how long were you in the military?
7 years.
So what happens when you start, I don't know, you're 8 or 9 months pregnant? How does that work?
So after I found out I had to go home, it was like 2 or 3 days later they sent me home. I couldn't finish. Unfortunately, I was already halfway through AIT, but I couldn't finish because I would be considered a liability if anything happened to the baby. So I went home. The plan was for me to just have the baby and go back to AIT because I had already finished basic training, so I didn't have to repeat basic training.
Do you have to repeat AIT since you had to go?
Yeah, I was going to have to repeat AIT.
Oh, man.
I went home and I needed to have a family care plan, which was somebody to keep the kid before I went back. And I didn't have, it was my first baby. There was no one available that I could trust. Like, the people that were available, I didn't trust them. So I ended up getting out of the Army, and less than a year later, I went to go back to the Army. But my recruiter was like dragging his feet. So I went to the Air Force because I originally signed with the Air Force, but there was like a 2 or 3 year waiting list.
Yeah, there's a long wait for the Air Force. Unless you just want to do literally anything.
Yeah, well, this was back in 2009, and there was a waiting list.
Oh,
so
yeah, there's probably even more then.
yeah, so
Did you like the Air Force or the Army better?
Army, for sure.
Okay.
I would rather the Army.
What was better about the Army?
Respect and camaraderie.
Really?
Yeah, they call the Air Force the chair force, and they're all just like out for themselves. I've heard. I don't know if that's true, but
That
I
said it, not me.
I don't know if it's true, but that's what I've heard. What was our
Chair
comments
force.
up there?
So I said, thanks for sharing your story.
Okay.
Hold on. Thanks for sharing your story. That was amazing. And thank you for serving.
No problem. I appreciate your gratitude.
Now, so my cousin who's in the military, as you know, he was telling me this. He said that
By the way, Shisha would destroy him.
oh, for sure, for sure. Man,
Why would you say that?
because he's got a bald spot. He's you know,
That's messed up.
he gets stressed out over.
He's like the character from Mike Tyson's Punch Out. You just hit him in the bald spot and he goes down.
Yeah, he goes down.
It shines before he
Messed
punches.
up.
You know what I'm talking about? It's like sparkles off his forehead. You know to dodge and then just hit
So-
him right back in the bald spot.
He told me that nobody likes it, or he doesn't know how to respond when somebody says "thank you for your service." Like, what's the proper response when somebody says that to you? Do you just say thank you back?
No problem or my pleasure.
Okay.
At least for
Okay.
me, that's what I.
See, I feel like my pleasure, so that's a rock star answer.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sisha, for helping us.
No problem.
Thanks for sharing your story.
No
Again,
problem.
tell
It was
everybody
fun.
what your stream is called. Or your
My YouTube channel is Lanish Loves Makeup.
Lanish Loves Makeup. So
And
click,
you have-
subscribe, love.
More, if people want to hear more about your story, you got one there with like a
Yes.
gazillion views.
Yeah,
right?
and we'll post her personal phone number in the chat so you can text her if you have any questions.
Yeah.
True.